Okay, so I'm gonna be unconscious on a table, cut wide open, with people I really don't know other than our doctor I just met because of having to go there, trusting him to take my kidney out when my daughter's gonna be in the next operating room over and put my kidney in her, or will he take my kidney and give it to somebody else and give her another kidney? There is a season where you know, and depending on how your life rolls out, that you're taking care of your parents and you're taking care of your children at the same time.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm so glad you're dropping this on us, Dave. This dude got to give his family member a kidney.
Well, so in our culture, Kris, you know, kidney disease is very prevalent, but it's not because of so much of the genetic makeup. It's more of how we abuse our bodies.
Talk about that, Dave.
You know, you already mentioned, you know, drinking
and smoking.
Smoking, what we eat, you know, all those type of things. But also, there's document or research that has been done and still being done on where we live. You know, air pollution, you know, no trees, no greeneries to filter the air, you know.
So today we're going to actually be talking to a father that donated a kidney to his daughter. That's right, his daughter's kidneys were failing. And this man actually stepped up and volunteered to see if he was a match. And we're gonna go over the whole story about how you get checked out and all the things he had to do to get prepared and tests and things that happened to him as he was getting ready to donate this kidney. And further talk to you about his life after and all the research about all the false information that we're all getting about donating organs. So I need us to understand that, listen, there's more to life than just business, because if your health isn't good, you ain't gonna be able to do no business, all right? Ready, Dave?
Let's go.
All right, class, it's Kris Haskins with therealestateroundup.com. My mission and ministry is to raise your financial literacy through real estate investing and entrepreneurship. But today we are skewing a little bit to the health side because I firmly know within my heart that your entrepreneurship and your real estate ain't gonna do nothing unless your health is intact, which is the reason I've got my guest here today, David Persons. I know him from church, and the guy is an amazing speaker, a minister, and it is an honor to meet him, and his story is going to blow your mind, and I want you to get to know him too, so he can help you open your mind up to actually possibly helping with raise your health, to find the awareness of your health too. David Person.
How you doing, Brother Kris? Good to see you too. Good to be here this morning.
Yeah, thank you. I've been trying to track you down over a year. Has it been over a year?
Yeah, close to it.
So round up, I've been trying to track this guy down for a long time because his story is going to ignite you, as it electrified me when I heard it. Thank you for doing what you do and all that stuff for the community.
Amen. Thanks for being here.
Tell us who you are, Dave, a little bit of background.
Okay, so David Person. Next Wednesday, I'll be 62 years old.
How do you look so good?
I don't know. God is good.
Do you ever say black don't crack?
Black does not crack. That is a true statement too, though. That black doesn't crack. But,
you look great.
Thank you. Thank you. Born in New York, raised in Virginia.
What borough?
Brooklyn.
Okay.
Yeah, Brooklyn.
I'm in the water up there.
Yeah. And moved here with my mom, raised here in Virginia. Lived in Hampton, Newport News majority of my life. Reside in Hampton, as you said, bivocational, worked for Newport News Shipbuilding, as well as on ministerial staff at Abbott Baptist Church. 4 kids and 4 grands.
Good gracious, man. You got a busy life. Did you think your life would get less busy the older you got?
I think...
Did you thought before?
Before I did, yes. But what I learned, seasons change, assignments change.
I love when you say that.
Yeah.
Assignments. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but so that's me. Right now, my wife and I, you know, we spend a lot of time together and
I see you
enjoy
moving
being
around
with her, you know, enjoy the grandkids and, you know, all that.
That is so good. Y'all be traveling, y'all be everywhere. Y'all see you.
She keeps me on the road.
That's a good thing, man. I think what you're doing is a great narrative for people that are empty nesters, and we need to see this stuff.
Oh yeah.
How's it work? How's it?
Well, you start to rediscover each other in a different season, and learning. One thing my wife did stress that, we had to have our relationships together while our children was at home, because most marriages have children go and then couples look at each other like, who are you?
Wow.
So that was a real focal point. I have to give her the credit to keep us, connected in that way, so that now we enjoy each other. We're friends and we enjoy each other. So
That's cool, man.
So yeah.
I'm so happy for you, because me and my wife have to get back to dating. It's like
yeah.
you're just raising kids for so many years.
Yeah.
And having 4, I mean, I can imagine the timeline of having 4 kids, from 0 to 18 or whatever, all of them coming
and going their different activities, trying to support them, and dealing with their life changes, and
Something.
But it's been a good journey, been a blessing,
Good.
Yeah.
You look great. So I wanted to bring you here just to unpack your story, because even when I heard, even before you were going to donate a kidney, you would announced it at the church, you were going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to unpack all that stuff, how it works, what's going on through your mind, the whole process, and even after now, and how just the whole thing, so people can understand how does this stuff actually come about.
Okay.
So if you start from the beginning, Dave.
Okay. Well, I won't go back too far, but I'll give you how my daughter Jessica found her place there. She was pregnant with her twins.
Okay.
So this was almost 10 years ago. And after she birthed them, she discovered that she had lupus.
Okay.
And so they watched her and kept her in the hospital for extended period of time, able to release her, and then discovered over the years the lupus was affecting her kidney.
Lupus is an autoimmune
disease, yeah.
Okay.
It can affect people differently. So
Really?
It's not just necessarily kidney. A lot of people have different, so
Okay.
For her, it affected her kidney.
Does it attack the kidneys?
Yeah, it was actually attacking the kidney, and the kidney is a function, one of the filter functions to help,
Blood and all that.
all that, cleanse that, and get the toxins and different things out your body. So over the years, they watched it, and it got progressively worse in that manner, to where they told her that she was going to have to go on dialysis and eventually get a kidney.
Good Lord.
So at 32 years old, she went on dialysis.
Oh my Lord.
By God's grace, she was able to do it at home, and we didn't even know dialysis was done at home.
They got a machine they bring?
Yeah.
Get
She
out
never
of here.
had to leave the house.
It's still draining? I mean, is it still does it drain you?
Yeah, it still does, but we look back on it and say it was a blessing, because, so think about, this was during COVID, or at the end of COVID. So she was working from home. So she never had to miss work, because she could do her dialysis, and they set it up where she could do it at night while she sleep.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hey.
And so, it did drain her and stuff, but she was able to still work, be there with her children. She's a single mom. The other siblings helped her out, to navigate through that. Then it came to a point where she went on the kidney don't transplant list.
Okay.
And we learned a lot there, that based on a lot of medical factors, where you are on the list. And then there's a national list, and then there's like a state list.
Oh, yeah.
And she really wasn't high on any list.
How do you get high on the list?
Well,
on a list?
Yeah, well, from what I understand is that, age, physical, other physical conditions, all those things matter, where you get placed, your numbers that they take, determine all this stuff, any other conditions. So she wasn't at the bottom, but she wasn't high on the list. So when we heard that, our family, we said, well, let's get tested. And they told us there's no guarantee that no one in your family will be a match for her.
I read it's 50-50.
Yeah, I'm talking immediate family. There's no guarantee. And so we made the decision that, and I didn't want to force my kids or anybody, nobody, if you had to want to do this.
To get a test.
Test it, yeah, so my daughter didn't want to put pressure on anybody. Of course, I didn't want to put pressure on anyone. So I told them, I said, I'm going to get tested. And if I get tested in a match, I don't care if the rest of you all are a match, I'm going to do it. I just felt like as a father, when we talked about protecting our children and caring for our children, that's just what a father should do.
Wow,
I've heard a lot of people say dads, a lot of fathers wouldn't do that, but that's just how I was brought up.
I got you.
So story, I got matched, and then I found out.
Tell me about those conversations though. Were there conversations like, you gonna get a test? You gonna get a test? I mean, I'm just not just.
So again, the initial conversation was to them, I'm going to get tested.
So you just said, I'm doing this, so we don't got to worry about this back and forth.
So one of my daughters, unbeknownst to me, went on and got tested too.
Oh, okay.
And she found out that she wasn't a perfect match while I went to get tested. And, again.
Is it blood test?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And some other labs and make sure. And again, I didn't want, because it's a major decision. And I didn't want them having to make that decision, yes or no, and then causing any kind of, tension in the family. Yeah. In the family. So,
good gracious.
Yeah. So I did it and found out I was a perfect match, not just a close match.
Hey, it's Kris Haskins here, and I've got a Black Friday offer you can't pass up. Imagine getting over $2,200 worth of real estate training for just $397. That's right, this is everything I've learned since 2004 packed into my real estate courses that could easily change your life. And I'm giving it to you at a fraction of what I charge for one-on-one coaching. So there's a link in the video description somewhere above or on the side that you can get started right now, because this deal is a no-brainer. I look forward to working with you and seeing you on the other side. Let's go.
But a perfect match.
Tell me about that when you got that news, Dave. I want to know what's going on here.
So,
because you're still working, you got family, you got married. This is all...
Very emotional, somewhat, I say somewhat relieved, but then immediately, as fear comes in, what does that mean to me? What will happen, but never fear that I wouldn't do it, because, I was just raised, my grandfather raised me. Okay. And, he would do anything for us. My mom, my siblings, my grandmother. And I just took that on, that this is something, regardless of what happened to me. And I'm not going to act like I wasn't afraid. Okay, so I'm on Superman.
You're talking real big, man, real big.
I want Superman. My wife would tell you, in the quiet spaces,
No doubt.
But I just had to go do it.
I hear you all the time. You just do it. It's so many layers to unpack, but I want to get into today. Go ahead.
But so here it is. So that was 2022, I'm sorry. And when we made the decision, 2023, I got tested, found out that I was a match in January. But while I found out I was a match, I was diagnosed with high blood pressure.
Oh no.
And
is that from your stress?
Well, they wanted to find out, because if depending on, what medically they said with my pressure, they would have disqualified me.
Yeah, high blood pressure is serious, man.
Yeah,
they would take it serious.
So they didn't know if it was a stressful thing. So from January to November, I had to go through a series of tests. Monthly,
January to November?
Yeah, monthly take various blood tests, take pressure. I had to get, not just me taking pressure, I had to go to a facility and let them take it.
They got to make sure it's accurate.
And all that. Went through a lot of tests, man, EKG, scans and all that, because they were upfront. They said, hey, at that time, I was 61, get ready to be 61 years old.
Wow.
And they were like, I know you want to do this, but we cannot legally take your kidney if there's something wrong with you that could cause you,
get worse.
And so I had that on me, because now I'm saying, Now I'm saying, man, I want to do this for my daughter, but somebody might tell me no.
Wow, this is a lot, Dave.
Even though I want to, somebody might still tell me no.
Do you have a therapist that you were talking to at this
Not
time?
at the time. I probably needed one, but not at the time.
This is deep stuff.
But a lot of support from, again, my family, my wife, my kids. Of course, my faith. My prayer, my pastor. A lot of support from people. And so I never forget in October of 20.
This is after you've been going through the test for 10
October
months.
23. They said, look, we got to do one more thing, and then we got to take your record before a board.
Take your what?
All my medical records before a board. All the stuff that I've been through.
Oh.
Get ready to have my 61st birthday. In January, died high blood pressure. Pressure had been pretty good through all this. Look at everything, and a board was going to decide whether I could go forward with this.
Wow. I didn't know that's how they did it.
Yeah. Well, at least for my condition, based on my age and everything else that I was going through.
Well, it might be smart, Dave, have several people look at the documents.
And so the day that I was supposed to get the call, they didn't call. So now I'm really worried. More worried about if I can't do this, what happens to my daughter. A little worried about what's my medical condition, but more worried about.
You can work on that.
Yeah,
you can work on that.
And so the day they were supposed to call the call, but about the next day they called and said, look, they want you to come in to do one more thing. And I'm like, man, what's going on?
10 months of stuff and now another thing.
And so cut to the chase, I did that, came back, and my kidney special nephrologist said that, hey, the board believed, we went through everything, we looked at every situation, we believe that we're going to move forward, that should not happen.
Wow. Nephrologist.
Yeah.
What is that? Give me
That's the kidney doctor.
Okay.
Yeah. If I said it right.
I have no idea. It sounds okay.
Yeah, so there was a level of relief there.
Wow,
but then fear
Dave.
started shaking in, because now it's a reality.
I'm imagining you walking out of there, Dave. Give me something. I want to
So,
see the details.
there was tears of joy. I called my wife first, told her, everything was good, move forward with that. We both were prayerfully excited and stuff. And my daughter knew too, because it was in their family of doctors,
Oh, okay.
So she got the word, her doctor had already called her before I could call her, and all that. So, everybody was excited, and then we started, they had to get a date, because it's just, you don't just do it the next day, You got to get a date.
Do they do it here too? Is it local?
In Centura, Norfolk.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Norfolk has a big transplant. They do a lot of different transplants over there.
Okay.
And so, date was December 12th, and leading up to there, like I shared with you before, that fear started to come in now. Okay, it's real.
It's a reality.
Yeah, it ain't
They're gonna cut up on me.
Yeah, and they tell you, you can do the researches. There are more successful transplants than there are not, but there still are some that are not successful.
Things happen.
Yeah, so what's going to be your fate? Where are you going to fall into that? I shared with you too, to be totally transparent. Things start going through my mind. Okay, so I'm going to be unconscious on a table, cut wide open, with people I really don't know, other than our doctor I just met, because of having to go there, trusting him to take my kidney out when my daughter's going to be in the next operating room over, and put my kidney in her. Or will he take my kidney and give it to somebody else and give her another kidney? So, all those thoughts go through your mind,
Because you don't know who's there to say.
And so, but I held on to my faith, and my faith is what really, I shared with you that I trusted the Lord to allow me to give it to her. So I'm going to trust the whole process. I'm gonna trust the whole process. But still, even trusting, I want to keep going back. I'm not superhuman. I'm not a super-like spirit or anything like that. You know, there were fearful moments. Even before I went to sleep on that operating table.
You talk about this, man, like you took a walk down the street, Dave. I'm saying how I received this. You know, obviously it's a whole.
Yeah.
I'm like, good God. Obviously you got bills, you got family, all life goes on, and then you're on the table. It's commendable.
Yeah, no, and still working up until that point, both at church and both in the shipyard, doing what I had to go do, and like you say, pay the bills. Still got grandkids, still got other children. The wife. Again, had a good support system. I would suggest, and I have communicated to people, just depending on who you are. You asked about a therapist. I would see that, looking back on that, being beneficial. Not that, my wife wasn't there to hear me or close friends or stuff like that, but looking back on it, I would definitely recommend to someone, to go see a therapist, to have those conversations during the process.
No doubt.
No doubt. Not that I, and I know we say in our culture that, most of us don't talk about that. The therapist, but
won't talk about that stuff.
Yeah. But it wasn't the fact that I didn't see it. I don't know that I knew enough.
Was not aware.
Yeah. I didn't know if I knew, that was even something I should go talk to somebody
about.
An
option. Yeah. There's an option. Well, I want all my people here to know today that if David Person is saying you could get a therapist,
go get a
therapist. I have 4, y'all. One for me, marriage, wife, kids, and I haven't got the family one yet. I need 5. It's therapy, y'all.
Yeah.
It's important.
It's very important.
It's important.
It's very important.
So are you, okay, so you recommended that. So after you get the news, Dave, I want to hear, tell me about the mental capacity as you're getting closer to closer. What are you thinking?
So getting closer, those thoughts start coming to my mind, definitely making sure all the affairs are ordered, talking about why weird life insurance policies are, this happened, pay this off, do this,
It's weird when you're preparing for it, is most people are trying, they're 80 years old, they're like, oh, I don't know when, but you have a date and a time when you're going to be in this room.
Yeah, and so making sure, if, the Lord doesn't choose to bring me out of this, here on earth, I got things set up for my family.
Darn, Dave,
On top of that, I think, I'm primary care for my mom, who has Alzheimer's and dementia.
She does?
Yeah, so thinking about what that, and I have siblings, but I'm the only one here.
Okay.
Yeah, they're in New York. Yeah, so thinking about, making sure she gonna be good, communicating to my sister, so all those things are in your mind. Yeah, all those things are in your mind.
Isn't it weird how you get older in life is not what you thought it was? I'm like, I didn't know this was real life.
Yeah, so there is a season where and depending on how your life rolls out, that you're taking care of your parents and you're taking care of your children at the same time.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
Wow. So, I'm so glad you're dropping this on us, Dave. We need to hear this stuff. Yeah. I'll be gung-ho on business, but none of this stuff works good if your family ain't right. None of it works.
That's right.
It just can't work.
That's right. Because then you do have a divided mind. You're trying to do a business and you got all this going on. And again, that goes back to the therapist. It goes back to the therapist. And again, I'll say it, not just because we're on camera, but I say it to people off camera, say it in my home. Having a good support system, which is my wife, to help through all those things. I don't do this alone.
Got it. Yeah. It's always we.
Yeah.
There's no I. You don't say I no more. I'm like, it's we.
You can't do it alone.
Ain't no I. I'm done with that.
So all those emotional things we were talking about going on in your mind, in my mind.
Were you sleeping?
I think yes, because I was so exhausted.
You were just.
When my head hit the bed, it was, I was just exhausted, and be out and pop up and just get
Right
it
back
going.
to it. Yeah.
But what was good for me, the procedure, again, as I know, they put you out uneventful, wake up the next, a couple
Just got
hours
some pain,
later,
yeah, a little bit.
and what they do now is they get you home quick. They want you to recover. Well, not my daughter who received a kidney, but for me, they told me I would be at the hospital maybe overnight,
Wow. Getting
unless there was a
kidney.
problem. All I had to do was be able to get up out the bed, go to the bathroom on my own,
That's
and
regular.
be able to walk around.
That's
'Cause
just
they
like
really-
having a knee surgery.
Yep,
You
they
gotta-
want you to recover at home.
Well, Dave, can we back up a little bit? Were both your daughter's kidneys going? Because I'm not an expert. I thought you only need one.
Yeah, both her kidneys were gone.
Wow.
Yeah, lupus had attacked both her kidneys.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
so both. How do they know both of yours are good? How do they know one of yours gone bad?
I guess the numbers that they take when they do all that stuff.
They know.
Yeah.
Praise God on that. I'll be like, what if the one is bad? And then
What if they take the bad one and give it? Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either, but
They have the test.
they have the test. They
Oh,
have
okay.
that, yeah.
So good. So
Yeah.
you've made the decision. I've been under. Anything can happen, like
Mm-hmm.
you said. How do you know that they're gonna give them the kidney? You're waking up. Tell me about it after recovery.
So you wake up, you wake up in the recovery. And
Do you feel anything, or is it?
No,
it
I
numb
didn't
you up?
it numb you up. Didn't feel anything while the meds were working.
At first, it's always at first. It's
The
okay.
meds were working. In recovery, and then they put you back in your room, and as the meds wore off, I could feel some pain. And they gave me Tylenol.
That was for me too.
And I had an option to take a form of an opioid, and I was just not going to do that. I was going
worth
to
it,
tough
man.
the pain out.
Tylenol helps me, but yeah.
Yeah,
those
I was
opioids,
going to tough it out because I hear the stories.
narcotic. Yeah.
Yeah, I was not going to do that. And again, by God's grace, I didn't have to do that even when I went home. I just did the Tylenol, and over time, what I found out too, Kris, is the more, and my wife would make me get up and go walk down the block. Every day I would get to walk a little bit further. The more I walked, the less pain I felt
Really moving around.
moving around. And that's what they say, you just got to get.
You want to lay down and just.
Yeah, you
kinda
want to
relax.
just lay down. Man, that easy chair in my den, laid back, TV, big. I wanted to stay there, but no. Moving around, yeah.
So, how do you feel after, Dave? Do you feel? Because in my mind, I'm like, something's been taken out of your body. Do you feel like one side is? You feel it different?
No, I be honest with you, Kris. I feel no different physically.
Really?
I can't tell that I have one kidney.
Wow.
It has any functions. It
I
has
have one kidney. That is a weird thing to say.
any functions. And I go back regular for tests. Again with the kidney specialist, with in my primary care. And so far, praise God, things are good. I feel good. I am watching what I eat now. They didn't necessarily put me on a diet, but I've
Has
made
it changed at
decisions.
all? Has your diet changed from pre
By
to
my
post?
choice. By my choice. I'm laying off the fried foods a lot. Fried fish hard though, man.
It is hard. Hot. You a mess.
But chicken, trying to stay away from red meat, eat a little bit every now and then. So trying to change the diet. Want to get into an exercise program. I really want to do that. So
You got to keep you around.
yeah. So, but feel good physically, as well as emotionally. So feeling real good. Daughter's doing excellent.
Yeah, let's hear. Well, we'll get to her in a minute. I want to talk to you about life expectancy. Is there any difference, Dave? Did they go over that with you before you
Yeah,
go
they
in?
talk about that. They said from document says that there's no different in life expectancy if based on your health going into this thing. So that's why it's real important how healthy you are. And that was one thing while I was on that journey from, I told you, from January to November, was even my primary care told me, he said, the healthier you are, the better it'll be on the other side. So even so at that point, we changed our diet about what we were eating, what we were doing, trying to do some exercise, all those things, trying to maintain weight at a certain level,
I know it's challenging.
Yeah,
Man. It's
yeah.
hard to keep that stuff off, boy.
Yeah. But feel great, man. Really do feel great right now.
You look amazing. I'm going to get to your daughter, but I want you to just talk about the awareness in our culture, in our community. Because Dave, when I heard you say it, man, I'm just like, because I come from a background of alcoholics, Dave. I ain't told you this, man. So my grandfather, alcoholic. I'm just being transparent. Dad, family members, these dudes are drinkers. And in the back of my mind, in my whole life, I would always think, are these dudes kidneys gonna go bad? I'm just thinking, like, am I gonna have to get one of these? It was always in my mind. And then when I heard you talk, I'm like, this dude gotta give his family member a kidney.
Well, so in our culture, Kris, kidney disease is very prevalent, but it's not because of so much of the genetic makeup. It's more that how we abuse our bodies.
Talk about that, Dave.
You already mentioned, drinking
and
what we
smoking.
eat, smoking, what we eat, all those type of things. But also there's document or research that has been done, is still being done on where we live. Air pollution, no trees, no greeneries to filter the air.
Look at that.
All the stuff that we're inhaling and breathing, food that we digest, healthy food versus unhealthy food.
Dyes,
right? You look in our community and you see the type of food deserts we really have. And the food deserts does not just mean that there's no food there, but the type of food there is not necessarily the most healthy food.
I can picture in my mind, Dave, especially driving down Kickertown Road. I can see places that you won't. I think you have to be aware before you even can't even recognize it.
That's right. That's right. So everything we put in our body has some type of effect on our body.
Good or bad.
Yeah. And so what we're finding, the research has been done. I've read research. I haven't done research. Okay. What the research is saying is, so when you factor all that in, and it affects our kidneys. So think about this. Not only do I learn how to, as a young man, through my grandfather, to treat my wife, right? Because I see what he did with my grandmother. I learned what to eat from him.
Is that good or bad? I don't know.
Well, depends. If he ate, which he didn't, ate a lot of processed food and stuff, that's the culture that I grew up in. You see what I'm saying?
I got you.
And so if you grew up in a family, as you said, they drink a lot, smoke a lot, the likelihood of you doing it or children doing it is very high, because we are products of what we grow up. So all those things. So you think we're passing those generational genetics, I can
Habits
say.
too. Oh yeah, habits, built in.
Yep. To the next generation. So even at a young age, we give babies things that might not necessarily be the best. We think it's cute and all that kind of stuff, and
Dye.
But it's affecting
Red dye, yellow
it's affecting
dye.
their body. Again, where we can afford to live, and they just the environment around factories, around industries,
Look at that.
around coal.
Maybe even highways. I'm thinking of
all that stuff.
Breathing
all that carbon monoxide, and then if you live in a community again where there's not a lot of greenery, trees that can help, filter
the air.
The air.
Look at that, Dave.
All that stuff affects you.
I didn't even know this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you're bringing this up. So with being 61 days, was it a factor? I mean, your age?
The age was a factor because of my race and what in our community again, what typically happens to an African American male when he gets in his 60s in his body, and so, and doctors were upfront with me. This wasn't a prejudice thing, and I'm glad they shared this with me. You know what I mean? This was about, when you look at statistically,
Stats.
African American male in their 60s, kind of surprised I hadn't already been diagnosed with high blood sugar and all these other things that, in our community. So that was a factor, but again, by God's grace, I didn't have, all those different things.
Did they say how long a kidney lasts? Can it last 100 years? I don't even know how long these things.
If you take care of your body, there's probably more people who don't die from kidney disease than do in the world. But if we take care of our body, we can live a long time, and not that. But most of the time, it's because decisions that we made or decisions that are made for us.
I hear you talking about, even in your sermons, your assignment, Dave. Tell me a little bit about that. Did that affect this too? I hear you talking about your assignment at the church and your assignment, job, your life.
Yeah. So I believe everywhere in life we all have an assignment. So I'm a husband first, so I have
That's one assignment.
I have an assignment to my wife, and
oh Lord, we gotta. Okay, I didn't know who was going there, but I got you.
Won't go into a lot of that, but I'm supposed to be her protector, her guide.
That's a lot. I mean, you could put a period there, brother, and you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff, Dave. I don't think you laying down some real manly stuff.
Although I come back to my kids because it led to my kids. So, I have an assignment to my employer, my primary employer, Lupus Shipbuilding, that I think because of who I am and my faith, I should be one of the best employees. I shouldn't just say I'm a Christian and be a sloucher.
Do the best you could do.
Yeah, so I have an assignment there. I have an assignment at the church. I'm on staff, and I have a position there that requires to do certain things, and I have to do that.
Dave, those three you mentioned there are 3 full-time gigs already. You at 120 hours a week. I mean, what?
Well, I'm a son to a mother who has dementia, and of course, I'm a father and a grandfather, and so.
Good God, when do you come in? When do
So I'm learning that. I am. I'm learning that there has to be me time.
Yeah. Do you get any me time?
So yeah. So again, go back to my support system. Tabitha really helps me.
That's the travel thing I've been seeing.
Yeah, focus on me.
Okay.
Hope and focus on me.
So when y'all together, it's more.
We're together, and she's big on her time too, which makes it I gotta have my time. So, but. And I take those serious, when I became a Christian, and I really learned, and even being raised by my grandfather, who I didn't understand his Christian walk at the time, but he became everything that he needed to be to those things he was responsible for.
Mm-hmm. You don't understand it when you're younger.
Yeah, and so, again, he passed that on for me, just living that out in front of me.
Living it, setting the standard.
And
people don't want standards anymore, Dave. Yeah. I'm like, where's the standard at? So your grandfather was the standard.
Yeah. So those are my assignments. And again, I go back to as a father, as what I really say, head of the household. I'm not just head of the household to pay the bill, but I'm the head of the household to be the example.
Yeah, that's big.
And an example is more than just keeping lights on. The example is the walking out what I say I walked out, embody. So, again, my faith, Jesus gave everything for us.
Life.
So if that was my plight, to give everything for my daughter, yeah, I was a little afraid, but I was willing to do it.
So do you have, I'm thinking, well, you already said it. There's no difference in life expectancy. Your kidney, you could live with one. In essence, you can just live with one kidney.
There are people who gave kidneys to a sibling in their 20s and are 60 and 70, 80 years old now with no impact.
Do they leave the other kidney in your daughter, or do they take
Yes,
both
they
out?
don't. Yeah, they leave them in there.
So let's get to her. How's she doing? And tell me
So-
about her recovery.
So her recovery is a little bit different than mine. She was in the hospital for a little more than a week, just to monitor in case she didn't have any.
Was she aware?
Yeah, she was aware. She was conscious. We could go see her. All those different type of things. Came home. My second, she's the oldest, the second daughter, Jennifer, actually moved in because my daughter's a single mom, to kind of help her with the kids and things of that nature. And the other kids supported her too, as they could. And she was going regularly to a doctor. I think she still sees her doctor once a month just to check the levels and things of that nature. But she's up now doing things, back working on site, not on home anymore.
Dialysis?
No more dialysis, anything like that, nothing like that. Doing real, doing real good. I told her take care of my kidney though. Hey, you take care of that kidney now.
Dave, you a mess. Does she have a strict diet? And tell me about that.
Yeah, so there's some things that she can't eat. She got to really lay off the sodium.
Salt, y'all gonna say that salt.
She was a big sushi eater. She can't really.
Soy sauce, nothing but salt. That's soy sauce.
But she has a more stricter diet than other things that she can eat.
Dave, as we wrap this thing up, what do you want our community to know, brother?
So here's what I want to know. Again, and I say this not in a negative way, out of ignorance, I didn't know anything about transplants.
Me neither. I ain't finna do all that. What do you do it for?
But what I've learned is that the stories that you may hear or that you may believe are not always necessarily true.
Give us an example, Dave.
So there's life after transplant. So there's.
It's not like you die.
There's some organs. Now you can't give a heart and keep on living.
Yeah, you can't do that.
There living donors do have successful life. That means you give a organ, and I don't know them all that you can give while you're alive, but there
are some
just living donors that can give organs and can live successful lives, valuable lives or healthy lives throughout whenever God chooses to take you home. But you still got to take care of yourself. And I just encourage people to really consider it, living donors or just a donor after you transition. And know you can never really know, say, okay, well, I want my kidney to go here, I want this organ to go here. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell like you know that. But for me, again, it's my faith and it's a way of passing something on. I was very much pleased with the doctors at Centera. I'm not just trying to shout people out, but that whole medical team did an amazing job.
Really?
With me and my daughter and my family from a support aspect. Even now, my follow-up visits, the genuine care that I feel from the facility, and looking over me, making sure something might not look right, they just don't pass it over, run another test just to make sure it's there. I feel great. I haven't have to stop to do anything that I was doing before.
That is so cool. You don't feel no different.
Yeah, no different.
I be thinking that you get tired easy and you might sweat or...
No different. But different in my thought process now. You
move a little differently.
Yeah. Again, what I eat, what I do, and prepare.
You do it anyway.
Yeah, and two, I know you're into business, but it makes me think about the different levels of legacy that I'm gonna leave. So what from a business financial aspect am I gonna leave
That's big.
my children?
We should think of that.
Be honest with you, Kris, I didn't really think like that in total, but now, for me, you get 6'2", you've had a procedure, what might happen in the future. I need to start thinking about it. So it's start changing my mindset from financial, emotionally, physically, spiritually in all those areas.
All the
The
above.
legacy that I will leave.
That's right.
Because I would want my kids and my grandkids to say, like I do with my grandfather, I'm doing this because my grandfather did. I want them to say that.
That's right.
And I want, and I want to be able to leave them something that they can take, from that,
There you go.
that relationship.
Good.
So I just encourage people to really prayerfully consider it if you're in that situation, and do what you feel is right to do, because it has to be.
I didn't ask you about. Oh, it's funny you mentioned that because from my experience, I had to get jolted for me to think about something differently. It sounds like this kind of.
I think this was my joke.
Every man has a different one.
Yeah, this was my joke.
And different age. It could happen
Yeah.
at 20. It could
Yeah.
happen at
Yeah.
70.
Yeah.
I coach and train people. They've grown men, older men still renting, and they haven't thought about this in their lives. And sometimes, I never forget, Walt Disney says a young man needs to have a huge either incident or a huge failure at a young age, because that is going to give him that jolt. But the cost of this, Dave, can we touch on that? Did you look at that bill, or is it an insurance?
So here it is from a donor aspect. It didn't cost me anything.
So you can donate a kidney and they'll do the procedure?
Yeah, because the person who receives it, insurance covers the cost.
Oh, they'll cover both of y'all.
Yeah, yeah.
So this doesn't even go in your
Yeah,
insurance.
even all my aftercare related to that. Now, if I just go to the doctor for something else, of course, yeah. But any after these follow visits that I go to and things, I don't pay anything.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that. That's a big one to know.
Because the receiver insurance carries the cost.
So your daughter would get the bill. You don't even see a bill.
I don't see the bill. Yeah.
Obviously, it's your daughter. I mean, it just happened to be a family member, so it's in house.
Yeah.
That's something to know, brother.
Yeah,
I had no
yeah,
idea that was how that worked.
So
So you probably need to have insurance. I just want to put
definitely
it
need
out
to have
there.
insurance. Need to have, unfortunately, she works our work, and so we have, decent
You've got
policies
coverage.
through our
Thank God.
employer. So
Okay.
definitely need insurance, because those bills could be, it could
I'm
be,
gonna imagine.
up in the hundreds of thousands,
Okay, and last thing was, Dave, you talked about being a donor. You even talked about being a donor on the card for your license. Dave, I didn't think about this until I heard another gentleman say somebody might want to target you because they know you're a donor. Is that possible, or does that happen?
So anything's possible. Can I say it happened? I don't have any factual information to say it, but do I believe things like that and we're targeted in other ways happens? Of course. But
You even said the black kidney is better.
better,
I don't know if you did mention that on the camera.
yeah, so medical science says I'll just generic make up, not how we abuse it, but before we abuse it. Our kidneys are one of the strongest ones in the world, African American kidney.
Wow.
So, but to your question, can you be targeted? Are there theories out there? Yeah, there's theories. But I look at it like this. We're targeted every time we walk out the door, whether it's about a kidney or not. I worry about my son,
How old is he?
26, 25.
Right there.
26, yeah.
Right in the prime.
Going out there in the community, a young African American male, just because he is, and he might like rap music or whatever, and he would like his hair dreaded, so, but they don't know him, they just see him and make a decision.
Look like a regular guy to me,
yeah,
but somebody else might not see that.
We're targeted. My faith causes me to be targeted because I'm a believer, so there's a target out there. So every place, there are other areas in life that we are targeted at. But, I can't let a target on my back stop me from what I'm doing, what I believe is right. You know what I mean? And I think, that's a form of bondage.
Got it.
That's a form of, in my mind, if I'm using it in this context, slavery. I'm not going to be mentally enslaved because of what I believe out there that I need to go do or to be who God has called me to be. You know, and it took me a while to get there. And Kris, I'm not gonna say I woke up like that 100 years ago.
You're so powerful with it now, though, Dave. You just.
But yeah, I mean, I'm in the season of life, man, where I want to leave a true legacy of what matters.
What matters.
And I don't want to just talk it. I want to embody it.
I love it. I love it. A gentleman told me he wants to have impact.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never heard it used before.
Mm-hmm.
Impact.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you know what? I think I want to have some impact out here too.
Mm-hmm.
And you're impacting people with actual life.
Mm-hmm.
That is so cool. Mm-hmm. All right, so you've heard the story. I am not the expert. This dude is the researcher. You are. I'm the research. I'm like the walking research on real estate investing. I could talk all day. This guy is the research on this kidney thing. He walked it. He did it. He lived it. He went through it. So now you know the experience. And if you are on the line and you got a family member or something, you can kind of hear Dave's story. David Person, thank you so much, brother.
Thank you, brother, for having me.
Yep. I'll see you soon.
Okay.
Round up, subscribe, like this content, but further, the biggest thing I need you to do, share. You got to share this stuff so we can get it out to our community, our culture, so we get all this misinformation, including me, misinformation out and get the good stuff in, okay? I'll see you on the next video. Peace.